Hey guys, it's Mooney and I am actually back. I know I've been gone for a long time and I'm very sorry. Like, really sorry. But, for now we're going to do a random cake video I thought of because I need to make a cake and I was bored. So, I'm going to show you my concept. Let me grab the plate real quick. It's right here. So my concept is going to be like a sunset, which I did on the back of this plate to kind of test the coloring. And so I'm doing a darker blue, going into a purple, and fading into a pink. I kind of smoothed it out to make sure that it looks good, but so this is my concept. And so I did already color up my frosting, which is darker because of the fact that I'm actually using sugar-free stuff this time because of the fact that my grandfather's diabetic, so I can't really do a lot of sugary stuff, and sugar-free cakes are not that difficult to make. So I've already made my cake, pardon the noise, but I've already made my cake, so now I'm only waiting it for my crumb coat, which is a coat on top of it, like even though like you're sure that it's going to stay together. Because it's a chocolate cake, I decided to do a white coat, so I use this white sugar-free frosting. It's not sponsored, just saying what I use. I use a cup for my icing bags, so I'm going to give you a quick tutorial on how to do that. So you're going to have your cup. So this is actually a used piping bag I've used a lot. So what you'll do is you'll put your piping bag in, fold it up, make sure your cup doesn't fall away, fold over the edges, and then you'll get like an indent like that. Smooth out the sides, so you're going to want to pull up, and then you're going to push in, making your little divot. And then from there, I always do a double mix of my frostings, which I'm doing the blue first, so that goes into, and each of these can go in their own piping bag, or you can use the same piping bag. I just don't recommend it, because then it doesn't work right. And so this isn't a morning sunset, which is different from the evening sunset I'm going for, because evening sunsets have blue, purple, and pink. So let me go grab the cake out of the freezer real quick, and I will be back in a couple seconds. And we're back. So I have my cake here, which you can see, which I did throw in the freezer after I did this top coat. So let me move this back so you're able to kind of see what I'm doing. Let's move this bowl because we're done with it. And I recommend like cleaning your space as you go. So like if you find any frosting at all, find somewhere to put it. Most of the time I just put it back on the container because I'm not going to use it again. But evidently I wasn't filming that whole time. Whoops. So basically what I did is I just used my blue here and I just went around and filled it in. As you can see, I'm not super good at it, and you don't have to be really good at it. It's going to smooth out anyway. I'm just going to fill in some of these bigger holes, which I did as I was going. If you want, you can have a mirror at your station so you can kind of see what you're doing. So I just take my tip off. As you can see, there's a bit of icing on it. It's fine. Set it down on a paper towel or something so that way in case it doesn't. So what I do is I rinse these off because I only have one set of tips. So I rinse them off after every time I do them. So let me go rinse this off and we'll be right back to do the next. Alright guys, I filled the piping bag up with my purple frosting, which is a really pretty, just a really light purple because the purple I got wasn't very dark. But now we're just going to do the exact same thing we did with the blue. Kind of just fill it in. And we don't want to start smoothing it out yet because since we're layering our frost, or doing different colors. So for each of these we'll do about 2 or 3 strands because I ended up picking out 3. Normally you would just see 2, but I decided to be extra today and do 3 because I don't know. So we'll do 3. So we're just going to, and don't be afraid if your hand starts to shake. It's normal. So my hand shakes while I pipe because I'm trying to keep it straight and my hand doesn't do that. But just gonna kind of fill in these larger holes. Like you can really see on some of these where my hands Okay, so you can see right there, my hand started shaking real bad because of how I was holding it, because I have to hold the icing like this, so my hand does shake. But right there, you can really see my hand was shaking like this as I was piping. And don't worry, all those small little baby imperfections will be covered up eventually. When you smooth it out, so if you don't have an icing spatula or like an offset spatula to use, which is this thing, this is an offset spatula, or if you don't have a, well, I'll find my tool in a second when I start doing everything, but I have a tool now. Oh, here it is. So this tool, just you hold it on the bottom and then you scrape. So it's pretty easy, pretty simple. I don't really think it's that difficult. Make sure you have your hair tied back. Number one rule if doing anything with food. If you have long hair, it's tied back. If you have short hair, don't worry about it. And don't mess with your hair too much. I just did the bad thing, but that's okay. And don't be afraid to make mistakes. Mistakes are part of learning, and you're gonna eventually learn. I mean, if you all remember my Bakugou cake, which I really liked how it turned out actually really well, considering. But if you don't want to go through with the whole rinsing the thing out, what you can do is you can just get a paper towel. Just went all over my hand, but that's okay. You can just get a paper towel and push out all of the extra icing, like any icing that, like you can see there, some icing was still in the tip, because that's what that's for, is to hold your icing so it comes out in your pattern. I twist mine until they're the right size. My cat came in wondering what I was doing. So you're gonna wipe that off, push it out and through until we run out of icing. Jeez, how much icing is left? Like that, see? Like that's all covered in icing now. So what you'll do is you'll go to a different side, twist, push in. And like I said, see, now it's all cleaned out enough that you can use it for your next color, which we'll be finishing off with our pink, which will go on the top here and then this remaining area down. And you can lick your fingers, believe it or not, because now we're going to go through the fun part of learning how to cut an icing bag, because I forgot to clean my other icing bag that was out. So, icing bag. They're like 10 bucks at Walmart for like a pack of 50. So that's not even $1 per. It's like maybe a cent, I think. I don't know. It's some really weird number. So what you're gonna do is you got your. So these are what hold your tips on. These parts here. And we'll just put them in our piping bag. Push the big one, the one with the little rings, all the way down to that tip. And then this one, which is the one that comes, it spins on. So you're going to spin it on like that. Boom. Now you have a almost ready icing tip. So you'll have a pair of trusty dusty scissors. Not dusty. They don't have to be dusty. But you're going to just snip off. Normally do this before, not after. Like I said, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Just cover it up with more frosting. It works. I try to cut mine as close to the cupulette, which is what these are called. I couldn't remember what they were called for a second, so I just said the thing that holds the icing thing on. So, now you have an icing bag that looks like most of the ones I use. And this is a brand new bag, and I haven't washed it. The other two have been through the washer And most of these I would recommend hand washing because like you have to get into the bag and it'll work out. So now what you're going to do is the same thing you normally do with your icing. Cup over, check battery levels. I do anyway because my tablet likes to die on me in the middle of filming. It did that to me when I was doing a Lego video once. Not fun. I had to redo the entire video. And then I never posted it. So what I did to get this really pretty color is I just did the, so I get most of my I use gel frosting from Walmart. So what I used in this time are, for the blue, I use the dark blue because the light blue comes out super, super light. This is the purple. They don't have another one. My pink, I didn't like the way the pink looked, so I added a little bit of yellow to give it that really pretty sunset color, and now it's right at the color I wanted it to be. So, it's perfect, and it's just how I want it. It's the right color, it's the right shade, and fun fact, I forgot to take my hairband off. What I do to keep my icing bags from, spilling icing everywhere, because I don't have good hand-eye coordination anymore, I use a brand new hair tie. You can use the same hair tie for all icings, and I just spin it and then tie the band around. Pretty sure I said this in another video, but I don't want to forget about it. So then you have this. Looks like a carrot. And then you use your dominant hand or your right hand, because most people are right hand dominant. And you're going to just color it the way we've been doing. But in cake decorating, it's a lot of repetition, so you're going to have to get used to it. And the only limit in cake decorating I've noticed is really your imagination or like what materials you have. Even then, you can always like redneck your materials too. Like for Christmas, in order for me to get what I was wanting, which was some chocolate, like the chocolates that I use, but I needed them peppermint. Well, I didn't have any money or time to go buy them pre-done. So, see, this whole bottom is completely finished up. So now that we're done with the bottom, I'm going to move on to the top, which is where I will switch my tip to my just regular writing tip, because using this square tip is very difficult, especially when you're trying to go in a circular motion. It's not circular. So I actually do, I have 4 icing bags I use today. So that's actually not bad. I've used a lot more. So, now that we've gotten that done, we're going to take the white. You can see all that extra frosting in there. Don't mind the frosting, it's normal. So what I do is I ball it up like that for this big one right now, so I can push all of that excess frosting out. Don't mind my cat. I don't know if you can hear her, but she's mad I'm not paying attention to her and I'm doing a video instead. Cats, they run your life. And if they don't, that is not a cat. That's a dog. My cats literally tell me what I can and cannot do, including where I can and cannot sleep. They have taken over an entire half of my bed because I refused. Because I let them have it, because I don't take that much room up anymore in bed. I'm just going to pull it through with a different napkin because I don't want to get frosting on my fingers again. You can only get frosting on your fingers so many times before it comes away. And boom, it's clean without water. Now we have to put it back on. Now, with your top, what you'll do is you'll kind of find the middle of the cake. It doesn't really matter if it's the middle or not. You just hold and swirl. swirl. Make a really pretty swirl. However far apart your lines are, that's fine. Just go through and go in between the lines, which my middle is actually a lot bigger than I would like it to be. As you can hear my cat. Princess, shush. Mommy's making a video. Okay. So, the top of your cake should look like that, where it's like a swirl looking thing. Now, this thing. Give me a break. It's the first time I'm using it. So what we're going to do is we're going to adjust it so you can see the whole cake. Out of the way, spoon. So I'm going to just hold it and apply light pressure, I think is what it needs to do. Because if you do too hard, then it won't show up right. Like you can kind of see I pressed too hard on that first one. I'm just going to keep going over some of these spots where it looks like it's really bare. And just another thing I kind of want to talk about that I've noticed a lot for some of the fandoms I'm in is gatekeeping. Now, I'm going to say now, and I'll say this once, I shouldn't have to say it again after this, but you can, so that's what the spatula looks like. I don't really know what to do with it because I can't add any more to any of it where it'll look good. Unless I flip it upside down. Ooh, I can do that. So we're going to flip it and I'm just going to smooth out that bottom because I kind of messed up there. And on a turntable like this, what I have to do is I have to hold down. When you spin and you're icing, you're gonna probably have to hold it down with your with an index and your thumb. So your thumb will go on top like this, and your index finger will hold it to the pan, and then you'll be able to spin it while you're icing. Especially if you're using your dominant hand for icing. Again, use your dominant hand; it works better. And then I have an extra, so I'm just going to scrape this off, because I don't want to do a lot of washing. And I can just throw these cans afterwards. So, as you can tell, still a lot of icing on there, but I'll wash it in a minute. And so what I'm going to do with my offset spatula is I will just be going on the top. And just notice that I kind of mix some of the colors, but that's okay. That's okay. And I just want to say now that, like, if I ever gain, like, a big following, if you watch so much as one of my videos, you know what you're talking about, you understand that that's what I'm talking about, you know? Because one of my friends actually has a sibling who's been gatekeeping them, and it's hard to look at because they don't really get to watch the show. Now, I'm not going to say the show or the friend or the sibling, because, you know, I like to keep my stuff confident, because they're my bestie and I care about them. So now that you can see that, you know, it doesn't look pretty, but it's iced, and it's okay if it doesn't look pretty. Fun fact, not everything's going to be pretty. Especially when baking. I mean, I don't know. So what I'll do is I'll just go over it little time with a bit of pressure to kind of give us our little bitty tiny ounce of respect back. And I'll say now, if I ever hear of one of my fans gatekeeping, I will be angry, because that's not okay, y'all. So, this is actually our sunset cake. It's more of a twilight themed cake, but it's really pretty. So you have our pink fading into purple, which fades into blue. So I really actually do like the look of this cake, and notice that there's imperfections. I mean, notice this. It looks so pretty. I like it. Now, I'm probably going to make some chocolates to go on it later. I don't know, though. I'll figure it out. Because it's the main thing of what will I make to go on it. So, I guess I'll see you all in my next video. be safe, wear your mask, because I shouldn't have to say this. Wear your mask. If you don't want to wear a mask, then don't go outside. I don't care. I'm tired of the whole mask, no mask debate. But, so, be safe, don't gatekeep, and remember, if just because someone doesn't watch something does not mean they can't like it. Like me. I don't play a lot of video games, but I like the video game. Like, I don't play Undertale, but I do like Undertale. I think it's a really cool game to watch people play. I just wouldn't play it myself. That doesn't mean I'm not a fan, it just means I'm not a fan in the same way as a gamer. Or I like watching people draw, but I don't draw. That doesn't mean I'm not interested in drawing, it just means I'm different in the interest. So be safe, don't gatekeep, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye guys!
I ended up adding stars and clouds. I used a clear gel I got from Walmart. It has glitter in it too, so that's a plus.